Okay, I think I'm gonna disconnect this metal tube next and start working on getting close to removing or disconnecting the headers. And there's one on the passenger side as well, I can see right here. So, from what I understand, it's just two 10mm bolts, and as soon as I get those off, just remove this piece of plastic right here, and I think this whole metal tube can come out on this side. But from what I can see, it doesn't look like it can come out on the passenger side. Okay, driver's side's not requiring much effort at all to get this thing rolling. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove those two bolts right now and disconnect that plastic piece. So now that I have the two bolts out, I disconnected this clip, just putting in a screwdriver in there and pushing it out. Just pull that piece out, so this whole piece comes out. And I'm going to do the same thing right here, but as you can see, this tube is not going to be removed, so I'm just going to push it out of the way. So this one's been disconnected, and it's completely metal, so I think that's about as far as I'll go. Just disconnect it from that. Alright, let's see if I can remove this piece of plastic from here. Well, I'm going to stop that for right now, but I did see that there was one more connector that I needed to disconnect to completely get this portion of the wiring harness out of the way. Put that over here somewhere. And these things are stuck. Take some time to remove these spark plug wires. It's gonna be fun. I did get new ones, so I don't even care if they get ripped apart like that one did. But it's just a pain. Okay, so another thing they said was disconnect that dipstick tube. It's a 10mm, but it's actually a 15mm socket. It says give it a good tug to remove it. I've given it a few good tugs and it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to try to work around it for the time being. But first things first, I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of these spark plug wires from here. And they're in there big time, so it's going to be fun battling those things out. Okay, 3 out of the 4 are out on the passenger side, but there's just no freaking room to get to that one. So I'm going back to trying to figure out how to remove this plastic right here. I think it's just that clip right here that's holding it, and everything else kind of looks kind of loose, so we'll see. So got that clip out, and it looks like this clip right here is holding that other piece, so I did it. So now I have a little bit more room to look at it. Not really more room to do anything with it, but I guess I'll keep trying. So it took about 10 minutes, but man, finally the last spark plug wire is off. Jesus. As you can see, there's a spark plug right there. Another one right there. God, that was excruciating. These are all the tools that I had to use to try to get that thing off. Finally, in order to get a little bit more space, I just pulled this tube a little bit up top. Just got it out of the way a little bit more. Whew. Alright, now time for the driver's side. What was happening with the passenger side, but the driver's side, I took all 4 out in maybe 2 minutes tops. I think I still see something sticking out right there, so I'm gonna remove that piece too. Okay, I've neglected this little piece for quite some time. I think this is some kind of coolant pipe, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove that next before I get underneath the car and disconnect the headers down there on the oxygen sensor. and then unbolt them from up here and pull them out from the top. Okay, so it's just two 10mm bolts, and that metal tube just pulled right out. Next, it's time to get underneath the car and disconnect the headers. So now going underneath the car, you can see there are the 3 bolts that we have to disconnect. I'm just going to use a 15mm socket, put it on there, and unscrew it. And hopefully it's going to be easy, because this thing looks rusted to hell. Well, 2 out of the 3 came out, and one of them broke. But hey, at least this is disconnected, so I can still pull it out. So I'll see how much of a pain it is to replace this bolt, because I really don't want to do it. But yeah, that's what happens when everything's just rusted like that. Didn't even apply a little bit of pressure, just literally started and went, automatically ripped it off. Okay, so in order to get to that back one, this is a little in my way. So I'm gonna disconnect this clip right there, and then disconnect that one and remove this metal tube just out of the way. Another thing that I want to show you guys underneath, I removed the clip, but the oxygen sensor needs to be disconnected. Can't see where the top is. There it is. Yeah, just disconnect that. And let's go back up to the top. Alright, so up top, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one back there is a pain to get to. And there's also one underneath here that you can't even see. So they're all 10mm. And as you can see, that's where the other one is, right there. So let me go ahead and remove this last one, and I'll be able to remove this header from the top location up here. There's one more wire, you can't see it from here, but we're gonna have to get that wire loose as well. See that right there? Looks like it's attached to the header. I don't even know what that is. Maybe some kind of ground of some sort, but yeah, it's just a really long extension. And it looks like, I can't even tell, maybe a 15mm. And that should be out. Okay, so it was a 15mm. And after it's been disconnected, you see that over there. Yep. So that's where that is. That's where I disconnected it from. Looks like a little piece of wire sticking from it. Needs to be reattached. There's that loop. That needs to be reattached afterwards. Let's see. Yep. To that portion. Okay, so that piece, that wire, is not attached to the header. It's actually attached right there. So it was kind of unnecessary to pull it out from the bottom, but you know, it's already out, so whatever. And there's the header. Looks a lot easier to work on with this side header removed. I guess time to repeat the same process on the passenger side and get that one out. We'll see how easy or difficult this one is. But I've been using a WD-40, spraying it on there after each turn, trying to make sure that it doesn't break. That would be the last thing that I would want to happen, is for one of those bolts to break. So I decided to go ahead and just put that bolt back in for the time being. There is a smaller little wire that that also needs to be attached underneath. And later on, when I'm reinstalling the header, I'll just disconnect that one right there. But yeah, I don't want to lose that, and I don't want to forget about it. So on the passenger side, it's no more process, except 2 bolts broke. So we'll see what that's gonna happen. And then I also disconnected the O2 sensor. I think you can see right there. Alright, time to start removing these from the top. Hopefully I can remove this without removing this dipstick tube. I think so. Hopefully. I don't know. I guess we'll cross that road when we get there. The last thing, I guess I forgot to mention this, is remember that braided fuel line that was kind of coming out of here? It's connected up here somewhere. In order to gain access to the last bolt on the driver's side, I just went ahead and removed that line so I can have more room. And actually it wasn't too bad. I think it took me 10 minutes to remove everything. I actually didn't remove the dipstick. I was able to thread it through. And even looking at it right now, let's see if we can see. I don't know, maybe it's just rusted. But this thing is not coming loose. Yeah, I don't know how people take it out of the engine. So it's just gonna stay there. But yeah, we have officially got to the point where we can remove the heads, remove the harmonic balancer, the timing chain cover, swap out the camshaft, put the new harmonic balancer on there, new gaskets, springs, valves, whatever else I'm gonna do, and put it back together.